This morning provided an opportunity of what does Diana do, or heck, whatever we want to call it, Diana Daily, something silly. See a nice mess here, and there really shouldn't be a mess there, but there is, and it's only because, well, I went to go make some sun tea because it's really very sunny still a little bit on the patio. And I had emptied out both of these containers. Well, I started filling up this one with the water in order to make the sun tea. And as I pulled it out of the sink, I had lightly tapped it on the side of the granite. And hearing a nice little pop, I knew I broke the glass. That in itself is unfortunate because it is a lovely, lovely large glass container. But with the broken glass, as you can see with the water on the counter, it will be useless for sun tea. But since I didn't lose any of the glass yet, this is going to be a great opportunity to glue it together and use it as a storage container. And if possible, I will find a glass glue that is food grade, and maybe this can be used again. I'll show you in a bit. We are beginning by pushing in a clear nail polish into the cracks of the jar to keep them from splitting further. This is the same thing you would do if you had a crack in your windshield and didn't want it to spider out further. We can see that the crack goes all the way around to the spigot. We're going to cover the gaps, the cracks, with this clear bonding glue. It's waterproof after the nail polish dries. And then we're going to cut out a piece of this waterproof fabric. Now, I traced out the circle of the base, which I'm going to make larger, a concentric, I can't even say the word right now, concentric circle. And you can see where I marked it over here. And that brought us just to the base of the spigot. But because this crack goes all the way around to the center of the spigot, I'm going to make it a bit larger. We're going to continue with this, but I want to get some lighting in here. I decided to take up the floor space because I didn't want to clean up the counters. So we need some light in here. Maybe not so good for you, or so good for me. Well, it's good for me because I'm doing the cutting. But I'm going to show you about cutting out that piece of fabric to be able to put on the bottom of that container. Now, as I failed to mention, the reason why we are using, and I'm looking for my chalk pencil, charcoal pencil. The reason why we're cutting out that bottom piece is because we need something to hold it together. There's going to be pressure inside of that jar if we ever decide to put liquid in there. And that liquid will push against the cracks, and, well, if we don't have something to reinforce it, it's going to bust again. So we're going to cut out some fabric to put on there, and that's what we're doing next. Now, when you have a dude like this, he's not being very helpful. You know, that little nub going, oh, back off, you're not helping. Back off, rat. Go, shoot, back off. Go on, go to your bed. I moved it, remember? Other side, go to your bed. Go to your bed. Go on, to your bed. Get over here. Yeah, I know, get to your bed. Go to your bed. Good boy. Let me finish. Goofy. Well, making a protractor wasn't working out so well. I didn't want to poke a hole in the waterproof fabric because, well, it wouldn't be waterproof anymore. So I went ahead and dug through my cabinets, and I happened to find these cake tins. And they seem to be just about the right size for what I'm looking for. This one's a little bit too big. I don't need anything that size. But this one seems to be just about right. So I'll go ahead and take, so much fun doing this one-handed, this off. And I'll use this as my stencil. It might be a little bit too small still. So let's go for the outside of this. What do you say? Might have to make it just a little bit bigger. Maybe this will do better. That might be just about right. Maybe. Let's take a look here. Looks like the big one is just about perfect. Maybe a little bit on the small side, but that's okay. We'll work with it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and trace this thing and cut it out. Now, when it comes to scissors, you want to keep them sharp. There's a few ways to do this, and you don't have to pay someone all kinds of money to go ahead and sharpen them for you. It's really very simple, and I bet you got something that'll work. Aluminum foil is great, and all you do is just cut little strips of aluminum foil out with your scissors. Simple. If you don't have that, then you can use some sandpaper. Works perfectly. And if you don't have that, I'm sure somebody's got an empty beer bottle around. You can go ahead and cut it near the top of the beer bottle to sharpen it. But aluminum foil, cut it in strips. You have very quickly a set of sharp scissors. So here's our fabric. And I had already put that adhesive on the cracks on the outside. I like putting it there on top of the top coat, the clear nail polish, that right there, just so it's an extra reinforcement. And the adhesive is flexible, so that will help. And I'm sure there's some kind of benefit. I just haven't decided what it is yet. Anyway, I just did it because I wanted to. That's good enough, right? Oh, that's the sun tea that I originally wanted to make, and it is a lemongrass green tea. It'll be really tasty. Probably doesn't need much of the sun with the heat out here. It's cooking itself, I'm sure. Anyway, here's our fabric. And you can see I didn't do a perfect concentric circle, but we have what we need from it. And that is it being the right size to go on the bottom here and enough to cover that crack, because we want to create some reinforcement for the bottom of this jar. And I still haven't found something to put all my teas in, but I'll keep looking. I'll find something clever. Or not. Now, the instructions on this say, best if used between 50 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And seeing that it's about 110 outside right now, figured out I ought to bring it inside. Even though it says use it in a well-ventilated area, I think that's probably open enough to fake it. It also says to maintain, maintain bond strength, to maximize bond strength. Wait approximately 2 minutes for adhesive to partially dry before joining surfaces. Now, of course, they did say to apply it to both surfaces. I put it on a little bit more than I intended to there. And there's plenty on there. About time to put it on. And guess what? If I put on too much, we'll figure it out. Let's put this sucker on. Oh boy, they aren't kidding when they talk about a well-ventilated area for that particular brand of adhesive. Anyway, I went ahead and put the bottom piece on. We've got a little lifting there. That's okay. We'll push it down. And if it doesn't hold all the way, there's no lifting it up. So that can be another faux pas for the record. But so far, it seems to be doing okay. And I'm not too worried about the appearance on this. I did take a strip and put it around the bottom. Remember, the objective here is to displace the pressure that's being pushed against the shattered part of the jar. So we want it to hold together. Yeah, someone could say, just throw the jar away and buy a new one. But what's the point? We have it, we have the stuff to fix it, and we'll end up with something very unique that nobody else has, even if they do the same thing. So I'm not too worried about how this looks here, because it looks a little atrocious, because we're going to wrap it in twine. Give it a nice country-ish appeal, whatever the word is I'm looking for. And then I have this rice glue that I made for another project that maybe we'll get into at a different time, that I'll be soaking this twine in before it's wrapped, and it will help it shrink, and it'll help get rid of all those little fuzzies on there. Either that or I could just burn them off. And it may not even work after soaking it in the rice glue because, well, the adhesive wants to work, but I don't know that I like the fumes that come off of it so much because I have a bit of a tummy ache right now. So maybe when I go to the store to find some glass glue, I'll find an adhesive that doesn't need so much ventilation. And here we go. Now it's not fully dry yet, and I think I'm going to do some more braiding and attach it on there. I've done a few different styles where I just tried putting the twine on and it was kind of dull. And I tried twisting some of it and didn't like that so much either. So I did this twist braiding knot style, and I think I might add a few more. But before I put all that work into it, I think we're going to put some water in here and make sure it holds. Now for this particular one, because those fumes in that adhesive was so very powerful, I don't think I want to be using, hold on a second here. I don't think I want to be using this for anything I want to consume. But before putting any more work into it, I want to make sure the sucker isn't going to leak. Helps if I close the spigot. Don't mind the mess on the table. Okay, it's slow. I guess I could delete out some of that. Or not. Well, and check it out. We have 0 wet spots on the counter. We have managed to put this jar back together again. It's holding, mostly full of water, no cracking, no leaking. Give ourselves a pat on the back for that one. And maybe I'll start doing some more braiding and finish putting this together attractively. Though, like I said, I don't think I really want to so much use it for drinking anything from, at least not until I put a food grade glass glue in there, which I have not done yet. But that would only be to seal it off from that other very noxious, tummy upsetting glue that we use on the outside. So now it's just all decoration and stuff for fun.